All right, all right. All right, now, can you guys hear me? Let me share my screen. Desktop. Share. All right, now we should be good. My bad about the technical difficulties. Chat, pop out the chat. Hear and see you loud and clear. All right, so am I good to go? Somebody said I need to mute everybody. Not even participants. Mute all. Okay. All right, everybody's muted. So we're good to go. Yeah, so if you have any questions, just type them in the chat and I'll be looking at it from time to time. So give me the thumbs up, guys, if you can hear me, if you can see me, and I'm ready to start. Talk some DeFi. All right, thumbs up, thumbs up. Looks like everybody's perfect. All right, sweet. How many people we got in here? All right, chat. Let me just pull up the chat. Where did it go? All right, let me minimize this. Cool. All right, so I'm gonna hop over into Notion, and hopefully this is recording. By the way, you are screen sharing. All right, cool, guys. So if you don't know me, if you haven't seen Kris talk about this on Twitter, or if you don't follow me on Twitter, my name is Kris. Give a little intro real quick. I'm not gonna bore you guys, I promise. I'm 27 years old, graduated with a computer science degree, which has nothing to do with what I'm talking about today. But basically my background is, so after I graduated, got a job, have like a little slideshow for you guys. I got a job in software engineering, which I didn't really like at all. Did that for a year. I put these sticky notes a week after I started on my wall, and I told myself I was going to quit that job on this exact date. And that day came, I did quit. And then it was great timing because later that year is when like that crazy bull mania market started for crypto, which I'm sure a lot of you remember. Hopefully not a lot of you got burned in that, but is what it is. Yeah, so that's when I first like started financially being invested in crypto. I started off with, I've tweeted this before, I started off with like just a couple $1,000s, just, you know, putting it here and there. Mostly it was in BNB, Binance's coin. I don't know if you guys know that one, but as you can see on the right-hand side, I was buying it at like an average of $5 a piece. Right now, I think at the peak a couple of weeks ago, it was like $600, but regardless, I don't care. I did swap that in 2019 for Ethereum when Ethereum was like 150 bucks a coin. So I moved everything I had in crypto into Ethereum, right? And then basically after that, crypto was in like this cold ass bear market until like maybe like 8 months ago. And I watched Ethereum. So I bought it at 150. I watched it go down all the way to 84. And then obviously recently, you know, it went to 4K. Now it's at like 2,500 or whatever. But during that bear market is honestly when everything clicked for me. I started learning, you know, about Ethereum, what Ethereum really like does, what it's actually used for. And that's when everything changed for me. And then DeFi came along last summer. I don't know if any of you in here are really hip to DeFi. I'm about to go into the chat actually. I'm just curious, how many of you heard of DeFi? Like, do you know what DeFi is? Just trying to get a feel for like the audience right now. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of yeses, a lot of no's, clueless. Okay, all right, perfect. Yeah. So don't worry if you don't know DeFi. That's exactly what I'm here for. Um, so let's jump right into it. Decentralized finance is basically how should I explain this? It's trying to move the whole financial industry from stock exchanges to banks. Well, it's trying to replace banks, but it's moving the whole financial industry onto the blockchain, right? And in this case, so far, it's been onto Ethereum. Um, it's the core principles of DeFi are that it's permissionless. And I got a little demo to show you guys to get you kind of hype. So I'm in Aave right now, and I was like, maybe I should just show these guys better than I can tell them. So let me just move this. So I'm in Aave, and I'm about to take out a $2,000 loan in probably like 30 seconds. As you can see, $2,000 in Tether, which is a stable coin, which is pegged to the dollar. So I'm gonna take out a $2,000 loan just cause. Borrow, go ahead and confirm. And in about 5 seconds, the transaction should confirm. And hopefully you guys are seeing all this. Yeah, and just like that, I took a loan without signing a paper, without asking a bank. Like you guys saw, like it's completely permissionless, and I'm using my crypto assets to take a loan against. I'm sure you guys all seen Kris recently use his stock market assets to take a loan, but I was talking to him during that process when we first kind of like linked up, and I know that process, Kris could tell you better than me, probably took a week, 2, 3, I don't even know, but I know he was calling brokers and TD Ameritrade and all that. But like you see here, $2,000 loan, could be way more. I just took out in seconds. And if that doesn't get you excited, then I really don't know what will. This was kind of like my light bulb moment when I figured like this was the first app that kind of like blew my mind, right? If I go to my dashboard, you'll see that my interest is like compounding by the second. And like soon as I saw this, I was like, this is nuts. And trust me, I've studied Aave and everything. This is not some Ponzi scheme. This is not some, there's so many scams in crypto, but which is a good and bad thing because a lot of people associate crypto with scams, but DeFi is another beast, man. It's hard to believe almost. And a lot of people in my comments and stuff on YouTube love to just write it off immediately because like this is too good to be true. But anyway, let's continue, right? So a lot of you guys have seen me tweet this, man. I'll say this time and time again. Learning DeFi in 2021 is like learning HTML in the 1990s. I can't tell you how many DMs I get about people just asking like, yo, what do you think about this coin? Or like, what coin should I buy? And honestly, like what I'm going to try to get across in this lecture is stop that way of thinking, like learn the ins and outs of DeFi and how it works. And then don't worry about trading. Don't worry about buying and selling. Cause I promise that's like the least coolest thing about crypto. Like, I know you want to make money. Trust me, I want to help you guys make money, but the money is learning, all of the tools, right? If your only tool is a hammer, every problem is a nail. But in DeFi, there's so many different ways to like, there's a million ways to make $1 million. And trust me, like buying dog coins or buying and selling and trading all these meme coins is not the way to go, bro. I know so many people are going to tweet like, oh, I just made this much and made this much. But the truth is, they probably didn't. They probably held it because they thought it was going to go to like Dogecoin. They thought it was going to go to like $10 and they're going to be rich. And they're still holding it. And they're probably, right where they started. So that's not the way to go. Meanwhile, I'm getting paid to take out a loan right now. Like the one you just saw, the loan I just took out, I'm getting paid 7% in Matic, minus 3.8% what it costs to take the loan. So I'm up almost 3 to 4% on that loan. And I can do that. That money that I borrowed is in my crypto wallet right now, and I can do whatever I want with it, right? So it's like this endless, like I was showing Kris, there's like endless opportunities to like reinvest, redeposit, and do it in a safe way, right? You can do like degen, risky type of moves in DeFi, but it's all up to you. I'm gonna teach you the tools. I'm gonna teach you the methods. I'm gonna teach you, how everything works, and then it's up to you what you do with that, right? Let me just stop here, and if anybody has questions, I'm gonna read the chat real quick. All right, let's see. Anybody has questions, shoot them right now. I'm gonna take like 2 minutes just to make sure everybody's on the same page. What limit can you borrow from the loan? So on Aave, there is like, depending on what your collateral is, it's usually like 70 to 75% is your loan to value. So if you deposit $100 at 75% loan to value, you can take out $75, right? It all depends on what your collateral is. So how am I going to pay the loan back? What do you use that loan for? I can use it for whatever I want, but I don't want to get too focused on the loan. This lecture is basically, I just want to, open your eyes to what DeFi is, because like I told Kris, man, before you try to understand this whole DeFi thing, you got to learn two things: what decentralization is and what it means, and then how that ties in with finance. Like, decentralization is the most important term and word that you guys need to know. And I know I may lose some of you because people probably coming in here like, yo, tell me, he's going to tell me what to buy. I'm gonna make a bunch of money. Like, I'm not here to give you trading plays, man. Trust me. The money is learning how everything works, how to provide liquidity, what it means to provide liquidity, what it means to take a over collateralized loan, what it means to keep your health factor up. There's so much things to teach. And when I teach you that, right, I can tell you like, okay, this is the coin to buy, right? Or I can give you a strategy like, go deposit into Aave, take a loan out, and then put it into a pool together to farm Matic, and then use that Matic to do something else, right? But when those rewards dry up, like, you're just gonna come back and ask for the next play, right? That's not really productive. What I'm trying to do is make sure you guys understand like how each app, like how these rewards program work, how Aave works, like what are the core like principles behind all these apps, like what is a decentralized app, right? Like, trust me, I know like this might come off boring, but that's fine. Like, if the people that stick around are the ones that are gonna come back in 2 years and be like, holy shit, like I appreciate the knowledge. Trust me, like the mentor and the mentors that I have learned this stuff from, priceless to me, right? I remember them, but I don't remember the people that were like, buy this coin, bro, and I made some, I don't know, 50% on it. Like, I don't care about that, because I've made so much more money just by being able to identify what's a good app, a good protocol, and then investing in it and then using it, that everything else is just, whatever. So I tweeted this a while ago to, continue on my point where, everybody's asking me what coin to buy. The game plan for me is simple, right? Your crypto assets are basically collateral, right? And you want to buy assets, only buy assets that you believe in. So it's easy to like, I'm not saying you shouldn't like trade, like have fun trading with like 5, 10, 15% of your portfolio. Like that's all fine, but don't make it where you're trying to use most of your portfolio to like make flips and, make a quick buck, because trust me, this market is brutal. Like it's yes, it's unregulated, but it's a 24-hour market that's open at all times. So there's no going to sleep and knowing the market's closed. There's no, taking the weekend off. Like, I know some people that got liquidated during that drop, that recent crypto drop, because they had loans out and they, were trading on leverage. And in the middle of the night, like, they wake up and their Ethereum stack is gone, because like this market doesn't sleep. And, they couldn't help but sleep through a 20% drop and, lose their collateral. So here's my strategy, right? Buy crypto assets that you believe in, right? And that's your collateral. And then your collateral can be deposited in something like Aave, which earns interest. So you're only buying productive assets, right? And I'll give you guys a list of that. I believe I had a tweet of that too. So your productive assets are always, earning something. If anything, if they're not earning, at least they're solid investment for like the next couple of years, right? They're not something like Dogecoin where it's gonna fall. And I mean, it's useless. Like, let's be real, right? There's no, it's like a community like that. That's Dogecoin. But make sure you have productive assets that are either staked and earning you returns. And then if they're not, right, if it's something that you just believe in, make sure it's being used as collateral in Aave or Compound so that you can take out loans, right? And these loans that you take out, I'm not saying like do anything risky, but like right now for the next year or so, there's reward programs on Aave and Sushi Swap and just popping up everywhere that you can literally get paid to take out loans. Now, this isn't forever, right? But to incentivize liquidity, all these protocols, all these apps, they are, giving away some of their treasury funds to kind of incentivize people to basically use the platform, right? So it's kind of like gaming the system, but I mean, they know people are going to do that. So we're going to take advantage, right? So like I said, collateral is earning interest, your loan earning interest. If you don't want to take a loan, that's fine. At least your collateral is, being put to work. And then the awesome thing about DeFi, like I showed you in my Aave here, is that it auto compounds, right? What I mean by this is you don't need to, claim your interest and redeposit it. It is already being done so like in real time by the second. So every block, every second, your money is just earning more and more money. And I actually have, let me just move this to the side. If you can see up here, so every day I'm like waking up to free Matic. And I put out a tweet like a day or two ago where it's like broke people are trying to day trade dog coins, woke people are earning free Matic, right? And in that tweet, I claimed 30 Matic, which is like, I don't know, 45, 50, $60. And every day I'm waking up to, just free Matic. Look, I'll claim it right now. I don't know how much this is, but click confirm. And this is probably like, I don't know, 20, 15, 20 bucks that is just accruing for me. And this is what I mean by putting your assets to work. Like there's so many rewards programs. There's so many opportunities or plays, as I know a lot of you guys call them. But it's impossible to get hip to new plays if all you're worried about is the next coin. So that's what I'm going to hammer into your mindset this lecture, that like, I promise you DeFi, like once you start understanding like what's actually going on, like trading is going to become almost not boring, because it could be fun, but trading is going to become it's going to take a back seat, right? Because there's so much more surefire ways to make money. Let's just keep moving along. Yeah, here's a tweet I made about me claiming my free Matic. All right, so let me just take like a 2-minute break and answer questions if there are any. Open up the chat. So basically, Aave is like an interest account. Aave is like a bank, Luis. So Aave is literally like a bank. Like I said in one of my videos, what banks do, right? You give them your money and they turn around and give it to people that are trying to take a loan. They're literally the middleman, right? And that's what Aave is. And it's a way more productive middleman. And it's a middleman that doesn't need to pay out employees. So people always ask, yeah, where do these interest rates come from? Like, how are you getting 5%, 10%, right? Well, the interest is coming from the absence of banks, right? There's no CEO that needs to take $15 million a year. There's no, there's no, 20,000 employees that need to get paid. There's no, I think you guys get what I'm getting at. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. How do you earn interest? I think I just explained that as well. Explain the health factor. Sure. Let me go to the health factor. So your health factor is basically a ratio or a fraction of your collateral to loans, right? So you don't want your health factor going below 1. Like 1, you get liquidated, right? If let me give you an example. Let's say I put 1 Ethereum into Aave as my collateral, which is right now like $2,500, and I play it really risky, and I borrow like $2,000 in DAI, right? A stable coin. If Ethereum has like a sudden drop of like 30%, then my health factor goes way down really quick, and then I get liquidated. And like, sure, I'll keep whatever I loaned, but then I can lose my Ethereum. So that's what the health factor is. And I'm going to teach you guys how to manage your loans, what to look for, what loan to value means. I don't want to focus too much on this, but I think Aave is a great place to start because it's like so exciting. So many people have like DM'd me in the past, I don't know, week or so because of my guide. And if you don't have my guide, it's my pinned tweet on Twitter at the Kris K. But bro, so many people have like DM'd me saying, yo, I just deposited into Aave and I'm already earning interest, earning Matic rewards. Like it's so easy to jump into. So I felt like that would be a good place to start, right? And as you guys saw, like already in this lecture, I took a $2,000 loan and I claimed like $20 of free Matic. So that's just like, that's not even scratching the surface of like things I can show you guys. About like 2 more minutes for questions. Is Aave the best bank? So as far as lending and borrowing apps, I would say Aave and Compound are like the top dogs right now. Compound offers their own token as a reward on top of the interest you get. And Aave recently is doing the same. And Aave is kind of taking over right now, but they're both still great. So I'm seeing a lot of people ask about like Aave, how do I get interest? So I'm not going to focus on that because new people are coming into the call. So there's no point of me repeating that. If you want to deposit into Aave, I have a step-by-step guide in it's my pinned tweet. So just go check that out after the lecture if you're interested. But I don't want to focus too much on this. Let me just take like a couple more questions. How are you collecting? All right, I'm seeing a lot of questions about Aave. Okay. My Twitter is the Kris Kay. I'll link that. Best way to buy Matic. All right, let's move on because I don't want everybody to get focused on like Aave because I know you guys are excited right now. That's why I showed it. But all right, so like I mentioned when I started, this is the one keyword, the one word that you need to understand, like really understand, in order to, get the meaning of DeFi and what it's trying to accomplish, right? That word is decentralization. I'm gonna start off with like a really easy to follow example that everybody's gonna know, and that's Wikipedia. Let me move this mic out. So who here, like, I'm guessing everybody here knows Wikipedia, right? There's no way you guys don't know Wikipedia. Somebody, okay. Aiden said, what's that? Just kidding. All right. So Wikipedia is if you think about it, it's a decentralized source of information, right? Anybody can make a page and start editing and contribute to different pages. So there's 3 characteristics of decentralization, right? One is transparency, right? In Wikipedia, that's public edit history. The second one is distributed responsibility, which means like everybody has equal power, right? I can go edit an article about the Wealth Squad group on Wikipedia, and then anybody else in here can go and challenge my edit, or you can, add on to it, right? That's what that means. So everybody is equal and everybody's responsible. So the third one is self-governing, right? Like I said, any of us here could be a Wikipedia contributor, right? If we make an account, follow the necessary steps, we can all contribute to the big, conglomerate of information that's called Wikipedia. And I don't know about you guys, but growing up in the States, like in school, all my teachers would tell me not to use Wikipedia for like projects or homework or research because anybody can edit it. It's not accurate, right? Well, that's kind of funny because there was a study years ago that showed Wikipedia is as accurate as the Britannica Encyclopedia, which was like the gold standard in the world, right? Some of you may not have heard it, but basically this Wikipedia that came out, or this encyclopedia that came out, years and years ago was like the source of information for like everything. And I think an interesting fact is that in 2012, this gold standard for information stopped printing, right? After 244 years. And Wikipedia was a big, big reason that this happened, right? So I think this is kind of foreshadowing. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong, but decentralized website or app killing off the gold standard that everybody knows and loves. I don't want to say it, but I think that's what's going to happen with most of the banks and financial institutions that we all know. So I think that was an interesting find. Wikipedia is basically a website of information that's curated by anyone in the world. And it basically showed everybody that like we can have a piece of information or a software or a website that the world basically controls and it could still work. So that was basically like the experiment that solidified decentralization as far as like a use case. Let me go to questions. If anybody got any questions, I think that was pretty clear. Door to door. We had it set. Yeah. What's to stop the government from regulating this? Are you talking about Wikipedia or like decentralized finance? Because I'll get to that. DeFi. To Brooklyn, this is being recorded, so you can watch it later. Yeah, I'll definitely get into what's stopping the government from regulating this. There's different types of regulation, right? So like what the government can do is be like, you can't use Coinbase, right? Like that's one type, which is very extreme. Now that there's so much adoption as far as fiat to crypto, right? Like PayPal offers buying crypto, Venmo, E-Trade, it's just popping up everywhere. And I think as the days go by, the chances of that happening, that type of regulation, is just getting smaller and smaller, because if you ban that, then you're basically banning innovation, right? And I think we saw like recently how the country El Salvador, I don't know if you guys heard the news, but this country in South America just made Bitcoin be recognized as legal tender, and that got a lot of attention. So I feel like countries are, the countries that are more in the bottom are going to eat this up and try to get people to come, live there by not regulating it. So it becomes a question of who wants to get left behind, because if the US stops crypto or regulates crypto or whatever it is, then all of the smart builders and applications that are come out of there are going to move somewhere else. And that's the last thing the US wants, I think, or any country really. Like, will crypto ever replace USD? I'm not sure, but it doesn't need to. USD can just become a form of crypto, which it already is, but not in official sense. All right, just take a couple more questions. Security in the platform. All right. All right, I'll come back to questions in a little bit, but let's just keep going. So this is where it gets interesting, because the best way to describe like decentralized finance is money Legos. And this picture basically, tells a story. So let me just scroll down. So this picture is a visual representation of this app called Alchemix. I don't know if anybody here has seen my Alchemix video of the self-paying loans on YouTube, and how that, that one guy bought a boat for free because he used an Alchemix loan. Anyway, so basically Alchemix is a pretty new protocol, and they use all of these other DeFi protocols like Curve, Yearn Finance, Sushi Swap, and of course it's built on Ethereum, but they used it and they never had to ask permission to build on top of them, right? Basically all of DeFi is like, how should I put it? It's a permissionless network of apps. It's like a big app store, right? If Ethereum is a big app store, DeFi is just anybody can make an app and apps can use each other, right? The example I gave here is like, let's say we want to build a savings app in traditional finance, right? Like let's say I had a startup idea that every time somebody uses our app to pay for alcohol at a bar or club, that same amount that the beer costs gets deducted from your balance and gets invested into the stock market, right? Cool idea, right? But if I wanted to build that, I would need permission. I would need business meetings with all the apps, with all the brokerage firms. I would need licenses. I would need to talk to Visa, to MasterCard, to TD Ameritrade. But in DeFi, like I wouldn't need to do any of that because all of the apps that I would need to use are all open source. And open source means anybody can copy paste the code and run with it or use it, right? And that's what they all do. They all build on top of each other and they all play off each other. And I know this isn't like the lecture that some of you thought. I'm not out here giving plays just yet, but I promise you, and Kris could vouch for me, like this is like a whole new like beast. It's I hate calling it a revolution, but like trust me, you're gonna want to know how like all this stuff works, right? And I think, let me go back. So I think I explained decentralization, right? Is there any confusion on what decentralization means? It basically means like transparency. Everybody in the world can contribute. Facts. Appreciate that. But yeah, decentralization just gives everybody responsibility and eliminates middlemen because everybody's the middleman, right? We're all like invested in sort of like democracy, except in democracy, there's like, people with more power, right? So it looks like most people are like getting it. Decentralization, open source. Yeah. So if there's two words I want you guys to walk away knowing from this lecture, it's decentralization and blockchain, right? How many of you heard of blockchain and don't know what the hell it is? Because I was one of those people for a long time. And I'm sure everybody's heard blockchain. Like that's such a buzzword, but yeah, most of you probably don't know what that is. Yeah, me either. Trust me. Like I didn't know for the longest time, and that's completely fine. All right. Okay, I see some people raising their hand. Let me see what this is about.
Kris?
Yeah, how's it going, man? You got a question?
Yeah, a couple of questions actually.
Yeah, what's up?
Starting with what you just broke down, the blockchain. It'd be cool if you could go into that to explain that to us a bit more. And does it mean like if you're holding, let's say Bitcoin on any one of the apps, let's say Coinbase or something like that, are you automatically on the blockchain just because you're holding Bitcoin?
Yeah, no, I haven't gotten into blockchain. I was just about to get into it. I see some people thinking I was just talking about that. Yeah.
Then the real question, initial question I had was, with something like Aave, is there like a minimum that you need to invest, or to I guess you're transferring your coins into Aave, and then you're earning interest on those coins. And is there a minimum for that? And does the coin itself matter with the amount of interest that you can earn. So do you earn more if you have, let's say, Bitcoin or Ethereum as opposed to another altcoin?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, so there's no limit. There's no like limits on Aave as far as deposits. However, if you're on, so if Aave is on Ethereum and it's on Polygon, which is basically two different, I guess you can think of them as two different blockchains or whatever. But on Ethereum, since the fees are a little higher, it will probably only make sense if you're depositing, more than, I don't know, 800 to $1,000. You want to be up there, because if you're paying like 20 to 30 bucks to deposit, make sure it's worth it. But on Polygon, once you send the funds across, you can deposit, withdraw, do whatever you want for like basically no cost. It's like 0.0001 cent. So yeah, there's no limits. And for your second part of your question, yeah, there is. So basically all the rates that you see on Aave, whether it's deposit rates or supply rates, it's all determined by supply and demand, literal supply and demand of people who are borrowing and people who are depositing, right? So you can think of every single asset in Aave. Let me just go to Aave. Every single asset as a pool, right? There's one big DAI pool where everybody, where depositors, if you want, to earn interest, you throw your money into that pool. And then if I come along and want a loan, I just dip my hands into that pool and take it. So neither of us know, like, you don't know who you're lending to, and I don't know who I'm borrowing from, right? Aave is the middleman between that. And it creates this pool where if the pool is, filled up with cash because not many people want to take loans, then the interest rate is going to be low, right? We're not all going to get rewarded because there's not demand for loans. But if the pool is like low because a lot of people are taking loans, then we're going to get, rewarded our interest for all the demand that there is for borrows. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I would imagine that because Bitcoin is so popular, there would be a higher demand and possibly higher interest on a Bitcoin.
Yeah. So the biggest coins in demand as far as loans go is stable coins, and that means coins that are pegged to the dollar, like DAI,
Right.
USDT, because they're a sure thing, right? If I'm borrowing 500 bucks, that 500 is not going to turn into 400 tomorrow. So
Right.
people take that. That's the most in demand loan. So you'll see, like on Aave, when I go to the markets, that these have the highest interest rates. And you'll see it way more if I go to the Ethereum Aave. So you see how it's like 2, 2, 2, 2, and then it drops down to like 0 for like crypto assets, right? So yeah, those are the most in demand assets, crypto assets, to get interest on. And right now the rates are pretty low just because a number of things, but usually they're pretty decent.
And how does Aave compare to Compound? Is Compound pretty much doing the same type of thing?
Yeah. Compound, I could pull up Compound right now. But yeah, they are pretty much the same thing, in the sense that they are an anonymous lending and borrowing platform. The way, I don't know how you'd say they compare. They're fairly similar, but they're just different markets, right? There's different supply and demand on Compound than there's on Aave because they're not an identical market. So, you might get a better rate here. You take a loan, you put it in Aave because, there's a different rate there. So you're kind of like, that's what yield farming is. You're basically like going from app to app, trying to get like better yield because there's so many different markets.
Okay, like I see the borrow market, the Compound coin itself has a 6.98 interest rate, which seems pretty high actually. And is that if you're using Compound itself?
Yeah, so I don't even know if you're allowed to borrow Compound token anymore. I think they stopped that or something. I don't know what that's about, because you'll see here the liquidity is 0. Yeah. But yeah, if this is high, right, it just means that people want to borrow this asset, right? There's nobody that's like punching these numbers in, like, let's make this high. So it's literal supply and demand, and it could be audited because this code is public, the project is public, and it's all run by people that hold the compound token, right? It's voting power, which I'll get to
Right.
in another
Okay.
lecture. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yep. All right, let's see. Yeah, didn't mean to get off track. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to explaining blockchain. So we know what decentralization is, right? Basically, like Wikipedia is decentralized because anybody can edit, and that gives power to the people, right? Everybody's governing the website that they use, right? So there's nobody that can come in and, you know, have a lot of power and make articles that are biased. I think you guys get the point. But decentralization, very, very important. Very, very important. And that's basically that model that Wikipedia has is being used in all these apps like Aave and Compound. So I think that should be like a moment where something clicks for you guys when you realize that like Aave is a community owned project. Like there's every change is voted on by, if you go and buy Aave tokens right now, you are a voter, right? You have voting power in Aave, in the Aave protocol. Let me go back to. So let me know if that clicked, like decentralization and finance mixing. Let me know if that makes sense, because that's very important. And that's kind of like one of the concepts that like I really want to hammer in. And I promise we'll get to like more interesting stuff like down the road, but shit, I think I just unplugged my mic. Like I said, it's yeah, we have the power. It's very important to understand this, man. Everyone has a piece. Exactly. Everyone has skin in the game. That's the whole point of DeFi. If everyone has skin in the game, then everybody is aligned to like make the most awesome apps and projects, right? Exactly. Whoever said that. iPhone. Okay, let me get through some more questions real quick. Open source. Yeah, it's basically, yeah, it's open source. One person said, can you go over it again? All right, just really, really quick. Wikipedia, right? It is imagine a dictionary. That's probably easier. Imagine an online dictionary, right? Dictionary.com, for example, where any of us can go in and edit definitions of what words mean, right? That way, no one company can be like, all right, this word means this, or no one country can be like, this word means this. There is a consensus that we all agree on what all these words mean, and that gives it more accuracy, right? Would you rather have a dictionary that's fact checked by the world or by like one company of like 20 people in an office, right? That's really what this space is achieving. Exactly, the world, right? Is DeFi the Wikipedia of regular banks? Charlotte. Yo, I love that. I don't know if I want to make that statement, but I think you're on the right track. I think you're on the right track. Any more like questions? I think I was pretty clear with that explanation. I haven't gotten into blockchain yet, so 1 second. How's that translate into currency? Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. I'm more focused on how it translates into finance, right? Like currency is like just one branch of the finance tree. We're coming up on a year of DeFi summer. When do you think rewards went? Okay. I'm just gonna explain blockchain real quick because people are asking about that. And I'll get some more questions later. I'll also do like a huge Q&A at the end, and maybe if we spill over, we'll just go into the crypto voice chat and I can just talk with everybody or whoever sticks around. All right, so let's explain blockchain. And I think this is another one of those things that, when it clicks for you, a lot more will start to make sense. So give me a thumbs up if decentralization makes sense. Like, do you want me to repeat that, or let me know if I did a decent job? All right. Makes sense. Makes sense. Great explanation. Can you answer the question? What question? Repeat, please. All right, I'm getting a lot of thumbs up. This will be recorded. So if you're lost on anything, yeah, for the people just getting here, this is going to be recorded. So, and if you don't want to listen back to the recording and go over minutes and minutes of this, you can go to letsdodefi.com, and all of this is made really simple on there. All right, let's move on to blockchain. So like I said, blockchain is probably the word everybody's heard of, but nobody really knows what it means. And I've broken it down into a very simple concept, I think. And it doesn't have to be complicated, guys. It really isn't. Like, once you think about it, basically think of a huge Excel sheet, right? And we're going to use the Ethereum blockchain for this example. Basically, it's a huge database. It's a public database. It's a public Excel sheet. And every time there is a transaction on the Ethereum network, right, for this example, like let's say Bob sends ETH or any other crypto to Emily, or like I just took a loan from Aave, right? Both of those transactions were burned into the Ethereum blockchain as a new row, right? Like I made this little table right here. So every transaction has its own row, like a description, and then a unique transaction ID, right? And it's called a blockchain because there is let's say like every 2 minutes, one block gets filled up with transactions, and when it's full, it closes and gets added to like the master chain or the master Excel sheet. Let me know if that makes sense, because I think that's a good point to take questions. It's the thing about blockchain is that makes sense. Okay, good. Thing about blockchain is it's forever ingrained in there, right? You can't fake. Perfect example, right? Perfect example. How many times do we see people like fake flexing on social media, right? If I told you guys, yo, I just bought this $50,000 Cuban link, right? And I'm posting it, and somebody's like calls me out and is like, yo, is it real? I'm like, yeah, like here's the receipt, and I take a picture, right? Would you believe that receipt? Like, is there any, does that receipt like mean there's 100%, there's 0% chance that my chain is fake, that I'm fake flexing? Is that receipt impossible to fake? Exactly. It could still be fake, right? There's Photoshop. I could do whatever I want, right? You don't know if the chain's real. The thing with blockchain is uh every transaction. So if this was on the blockchain, right, you would see my wallet, which I can verify as mine, paid. Like, you can go on the Excel sheet or the blockchain, and you can click on my transaction, see, okay, there's Chris's wallet, which he can verify that's his, and he sent $50,000 worth of Ethereum to this jeweler, which the jeweler can verify that's their wallet. And like that link, anybody can access in the world, right? On a blockchain explorer. So like once you have that link, it's like an immutable fact, right? You can't delete transactions, you can't edit them. Like once they're ingrained, once they're on the blockchain, they're on there. Basically, yeah, blockchain is not a receipt, but the transactions are like receipts. They're like unfakeable receipts. And a blockchain is just a database that holds those receipts. Yeah, it looks like a lot of you are getting it. Yeah, okay. Oh, I'm seeing a lot of like light bulb moments here. Perfect example, understood. All right, thumbs up, and I'll move on to like get a better understanding of blockchains. What's the significance of the blockchain, and how does it tie into helping us make money? Um, a good question. So the Ethereum blockchain is basically like a public ledger, a public database where every transaction on every app is tracked, is verifiable. And there's a saying in crypto that basically is the motto, I guess, for like Bitcoin or crypto is don't trust, verify. Right. And it's like a pretty deep meaning, but it basically explains blockchain in like 4 words or 5 words, whatever it is. Don't trust, verify means if I tell you I have a Cuban link for $50,000, you don't need to trust me. Like I can on the blockchain, I can verify that I paid $50,000, right? And that's once you think of it in like that way, you'll realize how powerful just the blockchain alone. Like forget forget Aave, forget all these crazy protocols or apps. Just that alone is a game changer. Like verifiable transactions that nobody can fake, right? And you can think how this ties to governments, right? Like there's so much corruption. Imagine if the US government gave funds to a business on the blockchain and they're like, all right, you can only spend this money on things you say you're going to spend it on, right? And we can track it because the blockchain is public. So you paid you paid $20,000 to this contractor for a job. Like, okay, we can see that, right? But a lot of the times what happens is if somebody gets a government loan and they'll agree with the contract, like, yes, let's say we paid you this much, but we're actually paying you under the table. Like it can eliminate so much corruption. And it's the blockchain alone is just hella powerful. And yeah, I don't mean to preach too much about all right, so Kris has a question. CJ, what's the significance of the blockchain? What is Oh, he was answering. That's like asking, how does the internet help you make money? It's the foundation on how this tech works. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Here's one thing, man, about DeFi, and I think CJ can vouch for me too. Like, I know everybody here is eager to make money, but trust me, like once you understand, maybe it's not going to be today, maybe it won't be a month from now, maybe it's a year from now, when everything clicks in your head, it's like it's a whole nother universe you're going to step into, man. It's like taking the blue pill in the Matrix. Like everybody wants like the sudden instant gratification. I promise you this is worthwhile. Like you want to learn this stuff from the ground up. Exactly. Yeah. There's different blockchains for each crypto. Yeah. Yeah. So let me blockchain is the Matrix. Yes. DeFi is the Matrix for sure. All right. I think it's going to make some more sense when I scroll down. So somebody asked if there was different blockchains. The answer is yes, right? Bitcoin, for example, runs on its own blockchain. The problem is Ethereum can't run on Bitcoin's blockchain, right? Well, technically it can, but nobody's building apps on Bitcoin's blockchain, right? And I know a lot of you are probably wondering, why is Ethereum so valuable? Why is it the number 2? Why is everybody talking about it? It's because Bitcoin wasn't built to be like an app store or like a network for apps to be built on top of, right? It can be because it's an open source project like everything else, right? Down the line. But Ethereum has been doing this for the last 6 or 7 years. Like this is what Ethereum is based on. So Ethereum is DeFi, right? There's going to be other chains that pop up. There is other chains, but at the end of the day, all the innovation, trust me, like I talk to all the smart guys in crypto and DeFi, and I follow all of the founders of all these protocols. Like everyone is building on Ethereum. Like the network effect is crazy. And here's a fun fact. 1% of all Bitcoin is on Ethereum's blockchain. And I won't get too much into that, but Here's basically how that happens. Some of you may have seen the cryptocurrency called wrapped Bitcoin, WBTC. And that is basically, let's say I have one Bitcoin, right? And I want to play in DeFi, right? I want to make some money. I want to use it as collateral. I can't. There's no option for me to deposit Bitcoin onto Aave or borrow it. I don't know if you noticed that, but there is wrapped Bitcoin on Aave and Compound. What that means is I take my Bitcoin, my one Bitcoin, I wrap it in a digital casing, right? It's like, think of it like a service that wraps your Bitcoin so that it can go on the railroad tracks of the Ethereum blockchain. Let me see if that makes sense in the chat. Yeah, and what I'm trying to get at is everybody's building on Ethereum, right? The Ethereum app store is thriving. Like, that's where everybody wants to be because the security is unparalleled. So like if you, Polygon, for example, is, yeah, okay, looks like it's making sense. I'm not like speaking literally that there is an app store app that you can click and see all the Ethereum apps. I'm just trying to give like a metaphor. But so it's like Bruce Wayne and Batman. Yeah. So yeah, Ethereum is the DeFi app store. That's basically how you can think of it. And like I said, all the projects are being built on Ethereum, and that's what gives it so much value. Let me see if anybody got questions. All right, let me see. I think all these hand raises are old. Am I? All right, raise your hand if you have any questions and I'll unmute you real quick. Thanks for this. This is really life-changing information. Bro, this is only the start. Trust me. I can't wait to get to the exciting stuff, but this like needs to be covered, man. This needs to be covered. Like, trust me, when I was making this write-up, I was like, I know a lot of people are going to be, bored. It's not what they're expecting, but the ones that stick around, you'll remember this. Trust me. Has to unmute Sean Williams. All right, Sean Williams. If you got a question, go ahead, man.
Yeah, my question is, and hopefully it's not a dumb question, but do you have to be invested in crypto to get involved in DeFi?
That's a great question, actually. No, actually. So there's these things called stable coins, right? And one of them is called USDC. And a stable coin is pegged to the dollar. So let's say one USDC will always equal $1. It doesn't change in value, but it's on the Ethereum blockchain, right? So it's a cryptocurrency at the same time. So basically you're taking your boring, old, like outdated dollars and you're putting them on like this ice skating rink that we call DeFi, where they can move around like flawlessly from one app to the other. And like it just makes your money way more efficient. So that's a good question. But like, no, if you don't want exposure to crypto, you can just buy like 1,000 USDC coins and you'll have $1,000 that you can play with in DeFi without having, risk exposure to like a 20% drop but also you can't get a 20% jump unless you use that to buy, something like Ethereum, or maybe you deposit that 1,000 USDC into Aave and you borrow Ethereum, right? You're borrowing on leverage, right? That's a risky play, but yeah, you don't need to be invested. So anybody can start, even if you just want to put up US dollars. Hopefully that answered your question. Anybody else got a hand raise? Are there any other blockchains that are designed to be built upon like Ethereum? Yeah, man, there's plenty of blockchains. The problem is they're ghost towns. Some people are probably not going to want to hear this, but Cardano or ADA, the Ethereum killer, it's supposed to be a blockchain, right? It's supposed to be a smart contract blockchain. It's 6 years old, and there is zero product. I can't build an app on Ada if I wanted to. Like it's, and like, yeah, there's blockchains popping up like every day. But the thing with Ethereum, and I'm not saying like this is investing advice, but the reason I believe in it so much is like a lot of people underestimate the network effect of Ethereum, and just in general, like if something has a network effect, it's it's like an intangible like part of that asset. So yeah, there's plenty of blockchains, but if they're no, if nobody's using them, like they're useless. All right, I saw somebody say Ethereum suffers from high gas fees. Well, I don't know if it's suffering, because gas fees are literally um they're supply and demand. If a lot of people want to use Ethereum, gas is going to be high, basically. But I'm not saying that's a good thing. Like right now, Ethereum is scaling so that, you know, gas prices come down, which is the whole Ethereum 2.0 upgrade. But you know, it's a good and bad thing, right? If that's like saying, dude, Apple sucks, all their computers are expensive, I'm investing in Microsoft. Like, yeah, but like I see what you're saying, but you know, it's people that are deciding or driving up the gas fees. So it's like it's not great. Like, yeah, it would be awesome if Apple was cheap. But you know, Ethereum is the most secure blockchain and the biggest network effect. So it is what it is. It is what it is. So when these apps are being built on ETH, blockchain keeps the receipts and can help you be smart about your coins. You want to invest, correct? So if you're referring to like the actual transactions, it makes everyone accountable, right? If everything's public, um, imagine if like all of Facebook's employees, founders, co-founders, executives, if all of their finances regarding Facebook shares and their personal finances were public, right? And if the company, like the company's company's accounts, like money accounts, were all public, they would be acting way more differently in terms that like all their shareholders and the people can see every move they make. So, you know, they're less likely to do, I don't know how to put this, but they're less likely to pull sketchy moves or, you know, do anything that's going to drive their stock down or their personal reputation down, if that makes sense. Let me just finish this up so I can take more questions. I think this is a good lead into Ethereum and what it is. So, and I want to say this, like, yes, Ethereum is like my biggest holding, but trust me, I'm not like pushing it on you because I'm invested in it. Like, I'm invested in it because of what I'm teaching you guys. Like, it is the most in-demand blockchain. That's how I can put it. And trust me, if there was a better solution than Ethereum, I'll be teaching that. So it's not like some biased thing where I'm telling you go buy Ethereum. Like, I could care less. Like, I bought Ethereum at $150. I saw it drop down to 84. I was ready. I was gonna hold it if it dropped down to 0. Like, I don't care. So I'm definitely not like coming from that angle where, you know, I'm like, yo, buy Ethereum. Like, I'm literally just I go where the innovation is, right? So a quote that is kind of controversial, and I don't want to like shit on Bitcoin or anything, but Bitcoin has holders and Ethereum has users. And I think that's a powerful quote. And that speaks to why Ethereum is number 2. And personally, this is not investing advice, but I just don't see how Ethereum doesn't, you know, if Ethereum 2.0 goes to plan, I just don't see how it doesn't eclipse Bitcoin potentially in the future. It's my take, and a lot of people that I follow have the same opinion, but it's just like it's so undervalued, man. There was a stat where PayPal settled, which is like the biggest payment processor or whatever. PayPal settled $936 billion in 2020. Ethereum settled $1.5 trillion just in the first quarter of this year. So like, if you think about how that dwarfs PayPal, and then their market cap is similar. Like, I think PayPal has a higher market cap. I could be wrong, but like, yo, that's insane amount of value. And, that's not even taking in the future, potential of Ethereum. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about Ethereum. Does anybody have like initial question? People are reacting to the PayPal stat. Mind blown. Yeah. All right. I'm just looking for like quick questions really fast. Where does Ethereum Classic, Ethereum Max, etc. come in? So the fact that Ethereum and all of these apps, protocols, blockchains, they're open source, it means their code is out there. Anybody can look at the code, anybody can copy and paste the code, right? If I wanted to, I can start Ethereum Wealth Squad blockchain tomorrow. I can literally copy Ethereum source code and paste it, and we could that's called a fork. When a new when one blockchain gets cloned basically into something else, like Ethereum Classic, that's a fork. Like when, let's say, 20 people in the Ethereum community are mad, like, yo, we don't agree with this, we're going to fork and make our own, call it Ethereum Classic. That's all that is. Ethereum Classic is a ghost town. It is a failed fork, I guess you can call it. So I think that answers that question. Do you buy ETH on Coinbase? Yep. I also buy it on like Uniswap, QuickSwap, but that's a different story. Great, we're learning this now. Wealth Squad, baby. I agree. Okay, where does Matic come in to help lower gas fees? Really quick. Matic is called a side chain. It's basically built to relieve pressure off Ethereum, I guess, if you want to put it that way. It's built on top of Ethereum, meaning if you want to get funds from Ethereum to Matic, there's one bridge and one bridge only, and that's the only way you can send funds back and forth. So it's not like necessarily a competitor or anything. The Matic token itself is an Ethereum token. So yeah, it's like a pressure release valve for Ethereum to help lower the gas fees in the meantime while it scales. You're welcome, Leon. Yeah, my bad. I shouldn't have even gone into like side chains, but just remember the core principles, man. I want you guys to walk away with decentralization and blockchain. And both of those, after this lecture, go to letsdodefi.com, and I'll link that in the crypto. I'll put it in the chat right now. Crypto chat. I'll link the website here. Everything I just covered is explained very briefly on this website, but not in as much detail. So hit that up after the call. Oh yeah, my Twitter account. Actually, I'll go ahead and paste my Twitter account. Yeah, here's my Twitter account. That's where I don't shut up about DeFi. So if you're interested in learning more, all right, let's continue with the lecture. So Ethereum, basically it is a blockchain at the end of the day, right? Like I said, this app store that everything's being built on, like this app store that's like booming. It is the most decentralized app store. Remember what decentralization means. It's the most secure. Nobody owns Ethereum. Nobody can shut down Ethereum. I'm sure you guys have heard about that Ripple lawsuit. Well, when you think about it, nobody can sue Ethereum. Like there's literally nobody you can sue. So think about what that says about, Ripple and what they've got going on. But anyway, let's not get carried away. Yeah, so Ethereum is this app store on steroids that allows permissionless apps to be built on it, and all of these apps can talk to each other. They can use each other in a permissionless fashion, just like how I took a loan from Aave in the beginning of this lecture. If somebody builds an app today that people deposit funds into it, and the app itself can take loans from Aave, right? Just like I did. So basically, what users can do, apps and protocols can do. That's what I mean by permissionless, and it's hard to understand until you start using this stuff, but it's a game changer. Like, imagine if PayPal can directly like put their users funds into TD Ameritrade, buy stocks, then go into Robinhood, buy crypto, then go directly to SunTrust, take a loan, and it's like mix and match all of these different apps, right? But they can't, right? Permissionlessly, at least, unless there's a partnership, there's a business deal, all this stuff. Well, like I said, innovation moves at the speed of light on Ethereum, right? DeFi is nuts. It's nothing but, there's new apps every day getting better and better, and the older apps that are solidified are only getting better and better too, like Aave. And yeah, so on Ethereum, if any activity on the Ethereum blockchain, like if I want to send, let's say I want to send Kris some Aave tokens or some Ethereum tokens, just that send transaction, right? I have to pay a transaction fee for every transaction. So when I deposit into Aave, or when I take a loan, or when I send money to my friends, right? If it's happening on the Ethereum network, there's a transaction fee, and every transaction fee is paid in ETH, right? The Ethereum cryptocurrency that you all know. So like I was explaining earlier, Ethereum it's like an asset we've never, ever seen before. What I mean by this is it has three. So Ethereum is known as the triple point asset because, one, it's a commodity because it can be used to pay transaction fees, right? So people they need it, right? It's not even about wanting, they need it to pay transaction fees to, do anything on the Ethereum network. So one, it's a commodity. Two, it's a capital asset, meaning it can be staked right now in the Ethereum 2.0 contract to get yield, right? And that basically secures the network and gives every staker a reward in return, right? Paid in ETH. And then let me see if I can pull this up. So we have a capital asset, a commodity, and then the last one, which will be after July, I think 14th. So in a month, there's this crazy new upgrade to Ethereum called EIP. Or it doesn't matter what it's called, but basically it's going to turn on a switch that should make Ethereum eventually be a deflationary asset. So that will cover the third point in the triple point asset, making it a store of value, right? Just like how everybody buys Bitcoin because the narrative is there's a supply cap, it's deflationary, it hedges against inflation, right? Well, Ethereum is going to take on that role as well. So it's like this crazy new asset that, literally we've never seen before in finance, in economics period. So it's a very, I don't think I can explain it in like, 5 or 10 minutes, but as long as you understand that it's a blockchain, it's this app store, like you're good. And every transaction on is paid in ETH, and the gas fees or the transaction fees are basically just used to secure the network. And I'm gonna take questions for a couple minutes because I know some of you are probably like, what the hell? So raise your hand if you have questions, and I'll try to. Luis. All right, let me get Luis because he's been active in the chat. By the way, anybody know how many people are in here watching this lecture right now, live?
387 right now.
Okay, cool. What's up, Luis?
Yeah, what's up, man? Appreciate you doing this, man. And it's been
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, so basically, if we wanted to learn any new updates about Ethereum or any new apps, like you said, like there's a ton of apps out there that you haven't even touched on. Like if we want to like go and like research on our own to learn what they are, where do you suggest that we start?
So I'm actually working on a DApp or an app wiki that will be added to let's do DeFi.com, because I know a lot of people have that same question. But I would suggest just following them on Twitter. Like all of these apps usually have a solid community as far as like social media goes. So that'll be my best bet. If you want to follow them on Twitter, they all have like Medium blogs, and also like Discord groups. Basically every decent crypto project has a Discord group, and you'll probably see like me sharing a screen right now on my left-hand side. I'm in like a lot of them. So
You mind tweeting out a couple of accounts that you'll suggest to follow on Twitter?
As far as apps or like people?
Both.
Yeah, if you go to let's do DeFi.com, I have a section about like in the middle of the site where it's like people to follow.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right, anybody else got a quick question? Raise your hand if you do. Michael McRae says, I'm actually understanding this. Great teacher. Appreciate it, man. All right, Trey. Let's unmute Trey.
Hey, man, how's it going? Thanks for taking my question.
Yeah, man, of course. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Like, I'm super excited about this. I've had a few buddies that go to Georgia State and they run blockchain GSU. And I missed one of their live trainings yesterday. So I wanted to learn all of this because I've been in Ethereum heavy since 2017. Long story short, my question for you was, whenever you're going into staking, especially on the AV or I now, you told me today, I guess I've been saying it wrong for like months, but Aave on the app, what is your preferred wallet you like to use? Do you use your Coinbase to get your Ethereum up there or no?
No, yeah, I use MetaMask, and I know a lot of people have this question. The website I linked, Let's Do DeFi, I have a video tutorial on how to set up your MetaMask, really easy. So I suggest that's basically the homework after this lecture is I want everybody to set up a MetaMask wallet, because I'll get to that in a second. It's the last thing I'm going to touch on. Your MetaMask is like your wallet is your key to like every app. And I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, good question. MetaMask is like the most used wallet out there as far as like DeFi goes. So yeah, that's what I use.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man, no problem. Anybody else got a quick question before I move on? I just checked out Let's Do DeFi. It's a world of information. Yeah, man. Appreciate that. I feel like everybody in here will enjoy that website, my website. And I do try to update it like as much as I can. So it's good to like bookmark and just check back on. Anybody else got more questions? What's the safest way to avoid liquidation? I'll get to that later. I don't want to like confuse anybody that just came in. I don't know if these are old. Marcus, let's see if Marcus has a question. All right, I think we're ready to move on. Yeah, MetaMask. On Let's Do DeFi, the guide is a crypto wallet or setting up a MetaMask. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll see it. Marcus, you got a question? All right, I can't hear Marcus. Is any of this insured? How's security? That's a long-winded answer. But I mean, there's always risk. None of this stuff is risk-free. 100%, none of it. There's always risk, but a lot of these apps are like audited by like actual independent auditors. So Aave, Compound, you know, the top tier apps get audited regularly and they pay a lot of money to do that. So and when I say they, it's not a company. Like I said, it's, you know, money from the treasury of that app. All right, I think we're ready to move on. Let's do it. Okay, so dApps is basically probably the last thing I'm going to cover in this lecture, just because there's so much. dApps are just decentralized apps. I know it's a weird name, but in the crypto community, everybody just calls them dApps instead of apps because it's, you know, it's kind of a differentiator. Anyway, like I said, so there's in DeFi, and you'll probably hear this buzzword a lot in the next year or so, in Web 3.0, there's no username and passwords, right? So if I want to, like my Aave, where's Aave? If I want to log in or log out of Aave, it's not through, I don't have an account, right? There's no account to make. You basically make your wallet, and that's why you call it trustless, because your wallet just connects to all of these apps, if that makes sense. Think of it like if you've ever used, let's say, a new app on your phone and it gives you the option, do you want to log in with Facebook, right? That way, like, it already knows you have an account with Facebook, your email is verified on there, so there's no need to re-verify again. So it's like, okay, I trust this. And that's how the login process happens. Let me go back to that. So your browser wallet, or MetaMask in this case, is the master key for you to interact with any of these DeFi apps, right? And it makes it easier because if all your cryptocurrency is in there and you want to use Aave, right? It basically just connects to your wallet. You deposit the funds or you withdraw funds, do whatever you want, and it's like a back and forth of like this trusted relationship. And let me just make sure this makes sense before I keep going. Okay, the wallet is basically the master key. Yes, that's the confusing part. It's turning your head around this idea of wallets connecting and syncing. All right, so let me try and show you guys in real time. All right, so let me just switch over to whatever. Move this out the way. All right, so I disconnected from Aave, right? Everybody following along? Make sure everybody's following for this one. Browser doesn't matter. I'm on Firefox, but you can literally use Chrome, Brave, whatever. Well, not Safari because they don't have extensions. So if everybody's following along, so right now I'm just on Aave, right? And I can't do anything. If I want to deposit, I can't because my wallet is not connected. My wallet is a Chrome extension called MetaMask. Like you'll see in my guide on letsdodefi.com. And here is like my crypto. Most of it's not showing up. And if I want to log in to Aave to be able to use it, I just have to click connect. And it's going to ask me, you know, what type of wallet are you using? I'm going to say a browser wallet because MetaMask is a Chrome extension, right? Click on that. And now I'm in, right? Right now in the top right corner, you'll see that I'm connected to Aave. My wallet is connected. So if I want to do anything, I'm basically logged in, as you would call it. Like I said, it's kind of like logging in with Facebook on different apps that are not Facebook, right? Does that make sense? Yeah, it's similar to using PayPal to pay on like Foot Locker or some website, right? And the reason is because if you're using PayPal, that website's like, all right, cool. So PayPal's already done the hard work of like verifying, right, that these funds are real. So we can accept that connection. We'll connect PayPal and let him pay with that. It's similar. It's similar. What's the benefit of using MetaMask over Coinbase as your wallet? So MetaMask is just, it's just like the most popular wallet. I don't know. There's like, so there's a lot of options, but I would just go with MetaMask just because if you ever get stuck on something, there's so much tutorials or like YouTube videos or like their Twitter. It's just a big community that can easily get you help. You know what I mean? You want to use the most used one, especially right now because it's so early in DeFi. I would recommend just using the most popular tool. Makes perfect sense. I've had to use Facebook login elsewhere. Yeah. Cool. So we all good on wallets or like the whole wallet to app connection. Off topic. Yeah, this should be recorded. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, any of the mods or Kris. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is being recorded right now and will be available. Yeah. All right. So if anybody has a hand raise before I move on or before I elaborate, but we're kind of getting close to wrapping up and I'll just do a bunch of FAQ and then we could probably move over to voice chat after. Where can we see the recording? I'm sure the mods will help you with where the link is to that. Okay, difference between coins and tokens. Don't get confused when I mention, like when I call them coins or tokens, it's basically the same thing. Like Aave is a coin, a cryptocurrency, or a token. It's just like different names for the same thing. That's my fault. If you can use your crypto as collateral, can you still use that same crypto to be staked? Double dipping essentially. Yes, but that's going deep in the rabbit hole. And I'll get to that in another lecture. Yeah, so apparently Well Squad University tab has all the recordings. Perfect. Can you use MetaMask on your phone or only browser? I think you can use it on both, but I would not use it on your phone just because it could get confusing. You want to make sure everything's big, it makes sense. You know, you can go back and forth between screens. So I would recommend using it on your desktop or laptop at first. Great explanation. I like how you use things we already are familiar with. Yes, perfect. With MetaMask, can someone buy crypto coins with US dollars? I think there actually is a way for you to like use your card on MetaMask and buy crypto, but I don't do that because I think there's like limit. I just prefer Coinbase, honestly. I don't have like a limit because I link my bank account, and after I buy on Coinbase, I just either send it on my MetaMask to one of my MetaMask wallets, and it's simple. You're loaded. I wish my wallet looked like that. I don't even have any Ethereum in here. I have like $300. All right. Let's get back to, so that's pretty much wrapping it up. MetaMask is the browser wallet. It's basically your key to DeFi, right? When you guys saw me take out a loan, and let me just show you guys one more time. If I want to take out another loan, let me just switch to Matic. If I want to take out another loan on Aave, click borrow. And let's say I want to take another $2,000 out. Basically, it knows all this information because my wallet is connected, right? And every time if I click continue and take this loan, it gets embedded in the blockchain. It gets embedded into the blockchain because it's a transaction, and hopefully now that makes sense. But yeah, wallets are your login with Facebook. Basically, it's your key to unlock or log into all of these apps in DeFi and use them. And it also, like, that's obviously where you store your crypto. everyone should be able to download MetaMask app. State in New York. It was pretty complicated to buy ETH on MetaMask for me, at least. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't used MetaMask to actually buy crypto, like with fiat money, with dollars, but I think it is possible. Why don't you keep crypto on Coinbase? Because I have a little bit of crypto on Coinbase, but I don't keep it there because I can't do anything with it. If you guys remember this little tweet of mine, right? Your crypto assets, my crypto assets is collateral, right? If it's sitting on Coinbase, I can't do much with it, right? Because it's buying and selling there. So I'd rather have it be put to work somewhere in DeFi where I can leverage it and use that to grow my portfolio. So that's why I don't keep it on Coinbase. Coinbase is like a bank, right? That's like asking, why don't you keep your money in the bank? Why would you rather buy Facebook or Tesla shares? It's like, you want to put your money to work, right? Like, regardless if it's a stock or a crypto asset, I'm trying to put it to work. Especially, and the thing with me is, like, most of the stuff I buy, if not all of it, is long term. So like, I'm not selling this. I'm not worried about selling this a month from now, or, you know, my Ethereum, I'm not worrying about selling it like a year from now. What are the risks with stable coins on Aave? What would be a negative risk to affect it? If you're using stable coins to deposit and take loans, there's not much risk. Obviously, if you keep your health factor, just take like 70% of a loan, stablecoin to stablecoin, and you'll be good. There's not much risk. How hard is this to keep track of during tax time? Ooh, yeah, sore spot right there. The IRS might be in here. I don't know. No, it's pretty difficult. But it's also tough because it's like so new. But yeah, I don't want to get into tax stuff. Way too early for that. Kris, this is eye-opening presentation. I just got the crypto assets equals collateral. Glad I could turn that light bulb on for you, man. Why do people take loans? Just to leverage. Like, I'm sure you guys are all aware of, like, how Kris, CJ, just took a loan against his stock portfolio, right? Like, why did he do that? Because he has assets that he can borrow against and use more money, right? Leverage more money to reinvest into other things. So I think that's all the explanation you need. You take loans to, you know, reinvest, or I mean, maybe you want to buy something, right? If you don't want to sell your Ethereum for the next 10 years, use it to take a loan and buy yourself a car or TV or a couch, and then repay that loan in Ethereum as it goes up. You don't have to pay back these loans on a certain day. It's up to you. The loan fee, I'm going Aave. This is all annualized, right? And these change, but for example, like 3.89% is for a year. So if you have the loan out for a year, you're paying that every year that you have the loan out. Are these loans in USD or crypto coin? You're talking about mine? You can take out loans in crypto. You can take out loans in stable coins, whatever you want. Leveraging at its finest. Yes, sir. You were going to discuss concepts around liquidity. Did I miss it? I don't remember when we talked about liquidity, but I'd be happy to answer. All right, let me just wrap this up so I can just take questions. I think that was basically it. First lecture. I don't know. Anybody know how many people are still in here? 326. Sweet. Yeah. to everybody still in here, you're ahead of the game. That's all I'm going to say. This is the hard stuff to listen to and learn. I know, right? It's not the most exciting, but eventually it'll click, and you'll be glad that you stayed for throughout the quote unquote boring lectures, because I literally can't like teach you all the exciting stuff, because like you'll do it. Like I can show you how to do it. I can show you how to take out a loan, leverage it, flip it, get 200% APY. But like when that strategy is over, like then what? You don't know what else to do, right? Crawl before you walk. Exactly. And even this stuff, like even the basics is overwhelming. Like I know, I see some people in here, like I know that's fine. But like I feel like let's do DeFi.com is going to help you ease into it, because I explain everything that I just covered in a really simple way. So the homework basically is to one, create a MetaMask wallet, follow my video that I have on let's do DeFi.com. And two, just go through, let me just go through the website right now. Go to let's do DeFi.com. I linked it in the chat. I'll link it again if I have to. And read through this section. Read through this section right here. You don't even have to go to the tutorials. Just read through this and this. That's it. Do that like 5 times until it clicks. That's basically the homework. Appreciate that. Yeah. So I'm ready to wrap up this lecture. I don't want to make this recording like 3 hours long. So do you guys want to like hop in the crypto voice chat and I can actually talk to some of you and like do just more questions or whatever? How often will you lecture? So yeah, good question. I think we agreed that I'm gonna try to be in here once a week. So probably like on Saturdays. I'm not sure on the times yet, but I'm gonna try for Saturdays. And if you ever have a question on when I'll be in here, just feel free to message me on Twitter or ask here in the Discord. Just be like, tag me or whatever and just ask. And also, I'm gonna link my Twitter in the crypto chat. Well, I think I already did. Yeah. So my Twitter is linked in the crypto chat. I answer, DMs regularly. Now don't flood me with like the only DMs I don't want is like, what coin should I buy? Or like, what do you think of Ripple? Like, no, if you have like serious questions that you want like more elaboration on, yeah, I'd be happy to answer. But also in the Discord, man, I'm be active in the Discord, in the crypto section only. So yeah, tag me in questions. I'll be in and out there basically every day when I can to answer questions. And yeah, from time to time, I'll jump into the voice chat. I'm gonna be around for sure. Yeah, let me link my YouTube as well. It's actually in my Twitter bio, but I'm gonna link my YouTube. All right, there's my YouTube. So in the crypto chat, we have let's do DeFi.com, Twitter, and my YouTube. Killed it. Appreciate that, Charlotte. Yeah, so honestly, I'm proud of everybody that's still in here. I know this stuff is overwhelming, and it's so new. Like DeFi and crypto, especially DeFi, is so new that it's easy to like write off and be like, yeah, what's this guy talking about? Like this fad or trend would be over in like a year. It's easy to write it off, but promise you guys, DeFi is not going away. I'm not only willing to bet my net worth on it, I have bet my net worth on it. And yeah, the DeFi is going to be huge. And those that don't want to learn it, is going to be a tough decade for you. It's going to be tough. So shout out to everybody that's still in here. Like I said, hit me up on Twitter if you ever have questions, man. yeah, I'm hella active on there. Hella active. I'll be hella active on this Discord, and I look forward to dropping by here once a week to give these lectures. I got so much stuff to talk about with you all, so I'm excited, man. Thank you guys for the warm welcome into the Well Squad. CJ, I don't know if you're still in here, man. I appreciate everything you've done as well. Let me see the chat real quick. Learn now or cry later. Exactly. That's my next tweet. That's my next tweet. Learn now or cry later. Yep. It's true. He answered me and followed me. Yep. I answered DMs a lot, a little too much. I spent a little too much time, but yeah, that's basically it for this lecture. I want you all to create a MetaMask wallet and tweet me or message, whatever, tweet me, DM me, and tell me that you've created your wallet. I want to hold you accountable. So make sure you create your wallet and you study Let's Do DeFi.com, the upper section, study it, take notes. I promise you, you won't regret it in the future. 5 to 10 years from now, let's hope we're more wealthy, not sick. Yeah. We're going to look back on this lecture in 5 years and you'll see. All right, guys. I think I'm going to end this call. I don't know if there's any mods in here, but that was it. That was it for today. Like I said, look forward to doing more of these and teaching you all some more. So I'll see you guys around. Yeah, the instructions for the MetaMask wallet is on the website. Killer Kris. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for sticking around. Now I got to figure out how to stop.